Hey guys, back out here in the shop. Thanks for all the input on what you guys wanted to see with this saw. We put it back together the way it was. Didn't do rings, piston, anything. Still have my new piston right here. We're gonna run this thing to complete failure. I wanna see just how long I can get a saw to go running Bell Ray and premium non-ethanol fuel. I know that I can get well over 2 years because this saw right here is a saw that we put a piston and a set of rings in 8 months or so ago probably. It's on the channel. You can see how that went. That saw was in 2019 is when this was built. Yeah, that's a 2019 saw. I built it just after this saw, as a matter of fact. Ran it for, I believe it was just shy of 3 years. And so we're gonna see how long this one will go. That saw was still running when I redid it. So I want to talk about fuel usage and how much I burn as a professional timber faller and the cost difference of running Motomix versus a quality fuel and Bell Ray, a quality oil. So I suppose first off, I'll pull you over here and we'll talk about the price differences here and why I don't view this as chasing pennies. There's a guy making a bunch of videos and making a big stink about Motomix, and if you can't afford it, your business model's all screwed up and you're pinching pennies and yada yada yada. That's fine and dandy. At the end of this, I'll give you guys his name and channel, and you guys can pop over there and watch his last 3 videos, and I'd like to know what you guys think about it. So anyway, let's hop over here and let's take a look at these numbers. And let's keep in mind here that everything is the bare minimum here of what I'm actually using. So let's say, so this non-ethanol pump fuel, these are prices with including mix in the fuel. So let's say we burn 5 gallons per week, that's 20 gallons a month. Let's say we do that for 8 months a year because I don't work consistently year round. You know, we have days where we can't work because we're mudded out, like right now. Been mudded out for a week, and so, you know, we figure pretty safely that guaranteed I work minimum of 8 months a year. So let's just go with that, bare minimum. So 20 gallons per month, let's times that by 8, that's 160 gallons a year. 160 times $8 a gallon, which is roughly what my fuel is with mix oil in it. That's $1,280 a year. Total yearly expense, $1,280. Let's hop over here. 160 gallons times 32 equals 520. Total yearly expense, 520. 5,120 minus 1,280 equals a difference of $3,840 per year more to run Motomix. To me, that's not pennies. Now let's figure it up that we know I can get 2 years out of a saw. So over 2 years, 2,800 times, or 1,280 times 2 equals 2,560. 5,120 times 2 equals 10,400 or 240. And we end up with a difference of $7,680 over 2 years. That divided by 1,200 which is roughly what I can pick up a 372 for where I'm at. That's 6.4 saws every 2 years that it's costing me to run Motomix. Now let's say that Motomix is some sort of amazing, magical, be-all, end-all that will make a saw go 5 years. Let's figure that I put 1,000 hours pretty easily on a saw a year. So let's say it'll go 5,000 hours. 5,120 times 5 is $25,000, $25,600. 1,280 times 5 is $6,400. That's a difference of $19,200 over a 5-year period. That is not pennies. That's a lot of money over 5 years, and I'll buy one saw using Bel Ray and non-ethanol pump fuel. 1, maybe 2. Let's just give it the benefit of the doubt and say that I buy 2 saws. That's going to be $2,400. We're still well over $10,000 difference here. So I don't see how it pencils out. I mean, if you can explain to me how that pencils out to where I'm money ahead on Motomix, by all means. I mean, any good businessman that I know of doesn't spend money that's not saving him money. You know, if I was really pinching pennies here, I would be running the absolute cheapest 2-cycle mix that I could find, and I'd be running the absolute cheapest pump fuel that I could find, which would be, you know, regular ethanol blended fuel, as cheap as I could go. And even at that rate, I would still be money ahead. I mean, I'm sure you'd get 7-8 months off of running the cheapest, shittiest fuel you can find, cheapest, shittiest oil you can find, and I'll bet you'd still get 8 months out of a saw before it blew up. So you're still even money ahead doing that. Let's talk about the health risks and possible benefits to Motomix. There's no denying that breathing fumes from chainsaw exhaust or any exhaust is not ideal for your health. But cutting timber's one of the most dangerous jobs in the world. I drive a minimum of 2 hours a day getting to and from work, so there's 2 hours a day that I'm at risk of getting killed in a car wreck. I'm 6 hours a day on the saw. There's 6 hours of risk of getting killed in the woods. Life is full of risks, and my question to you is do you hold your breath every time you walk by your car? Do you stay out of all the big cities that are just filled with smog, so you're never breathing any of that stuff? I mean, is that your logic there? My dad cut timber for 30 years, over 30 years, and started way back when fuel was leaded, and he doesn't have any adverse health risks. Fuels were leaded, oils were worse, everything was worse back in the 70s for your health, and he's almost 71 and still doing fine. So this breaks down why this is not pennies for me. This is dollars. And could I afford to run this? Absolutely I could. Absolutely I could. But I'm not saving anything. I'm not gaining anything except for maybe some health benefits by running Motomix. There's no benefit to me there. There is, however, huge benefits to me running H1R and premium fuel, non-ethanol. This is a cylinder off the very first X-Torque I ever had over 7 years ago. this thing was absolutely disgusting. Like, I don't know if you guys can see all the black around here. I mean, and that's thick caked on black. I've cleaned the inside of this cylinder up because it was going to go in, or it's going to go on this saw. But I have the original piston out of this somewhere, and oh, it's right here. This was running XP plus the Husqvarna mix and premium fuel, and this saw went 8 months and scored the skirt, the top, the piston, not horribly carboned up, but I mean, the whole underside of this piston and everything's just black as ace of spades. The whole inside of this thing was just completely black. And this is what started me on the search for a better oil. So this saw got me 8 months. So by switching to this, and that's the only thing I changed. I was running premium non-ethanol fuel in this saw. I changed the oil, and that was it. And now I can get over 2 years worth of runtime out of a saw. And, you know, we see what it looks like at a year. So I am saving money by buying this oil. This is not a cheap oil. This is at least about the cheapest you can get it right now is 28 bucks a liter. That's not a cheap oil. So, you know, if it doesn't help me out or save me money in the long run, it's pointless for me to spend the extra money. You know, if there's just no way that this pencils out in any way you figure it to where it's anywhere even close. And the longer you make a saw go, the greater the expense is over the long run. So anyway, I'd like you guys to pop over to Fabes or Fabs Acres, Black Cat. I'm sure if you just pop down into the comments, I'm sure you'll see him here. If not, you can pop onto the last video and find him in the comments there. Click his icon, that'll take you to his page. Watch his last 3 videos and tell me if I'm in the wrong here. You know, I don't normally explain myself to people, but this guy is being kind of an unpleasant individual. We'll just say that. And he's not only talking about me, he's talking about Richard Flagg and Wes Mitchell. And so he's spreading information out there that doesn't really, I mean, it doesn't really mean anything. I mean, if you want to run Motomix, by all means, go run Motomix. That's fine. But don't tell me that my business model is screwed up because it doesn't align with what your business model is. If it works for you, great, buddy. But these are big numbers here. You know, these aren't pennies. These are dollars. And if you don't think that that's dollars, hey, man, you've got life figured out. You've got her by the balls, and good for you, bud. So, anyway, take care. Hope this, I don't know, does something for somebody, I guess.